Now, few financial firms can say that the financial crisis was good for business, but one of those that found their services in demand is the advisory firm of Duff and Phelps. Their diverse business involves consulting on mergers, restructurings, and bankruptcies, including the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy. They also help firms and funds value their holdings, kind of like a trusted third party. My guest is the chairman and the CEO, Noah Gotdiener. Noah, good to have you with us. Thank you very much for coming in.
Nice to see you, Pimm.
Before we get to the whole world of mergers and acquisitions, we were just talking during the break about this whole concept of having non-cyclical, almost counter-cyclical businesses. Explain that strategy.
Well, let me start off by saying what we are. So Duff and Phelps is a financial advisory and investment banking firm with a real focus on valuation. We believe we're the largest dedicated valuation firm in the world, and we've built around that business different services, some of which are countercyclical, like our restructuring business or our dispute consulting business, and cyclical businesses as well, so we can take advantage of the recovery in the M&A markets.
All right, so those cyclical businesses are basically mergers and acquisitions, and you see that heating up.
We see that heating up. We are definitely seeing a pickup in M&A activity. We're seeing it from corporates who have been hoarding cash and now see this as an opportunity to consolidate their sectors. And we're beginning to see private equity firms come back off of the sidelines to deploy all the cash they have, particularly as credit begins to loosen up, which is another trend that we're seeing.
What are you seeing in terms of valuations? Because that is also the heart of one of your businesses. Yep. You also take a look at valuations. You've also been going through the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy. You're taking a look at values there.
Right.
What are you seeing?
Well, think about what's happened over the last 2 years. We've gone through an incredible economic crisis. Investors have lost a lot of money, right?
And a lot of faith.
And a lot of faith. And so what they're looking for now is transparency. And that's what Duff and Phelps is all about. So we value assets, companies, securities, accounts on the balance sheet, derivatives, and we do it without any particular agenda except to get it right. And so we can help build trust back into the system, and that's what we're about.
One of the processes that's involved is litigation, of course. Talk about the whole world of litigation, because you've been trying to grow the dispute consulting and litigation practice, for example, e-discovery and forensics and accounting. Explain what that is.
Well, we have a dispute consulting business where we consult to attorneys who are involved in litigations or who are prosecuting litigations. And many of the issues in litigations today, in particular, are around issues of valuation. What were these securities worth? Were they marked down or marked to the proper values? Were they marked down at the proper times? That's where we can bring our credibility and our deep technical expertise around valuation to help resolve those cases, and that's what we do.
Now, you also bring your expertise to bear on competition issues, because you've been doing a lot of work with the European Competition Commission. Explain what that's about.
Well, we've been hired, Duff and Phelps has been hired by the European Commission to really help them with valuation issues as their member countries come to them with programs around bank relief. And that's where we provide assistance to help them assess those programs and those requests from their member states.
Now, you've also got a big practice in property tax advisory, the tax business. You can give us a window on what's going on in real estate. What is happening?
Well,
are you having to go back with the red pencil and lop off a lot of valuation?
Real estate values are obviously changing, and they're generally going in one direction, which I think we can guess. But Duff and Phelps has a property tax advisory business where we work with big companies, utilities, telecom companies that have large amounts of physical plant that need to be valued, and then we negotiate on their behalf with the municipalities to help them reduce their property tax bills.
Now, would that be considered a cyclical business? It doesn't seem that way.
It's not really. It's a growing business. It's been growing in spite of the down cycle, and I think it will continue to grow in the up cycle as well.
What's the prospect for portfolio valuation services? Is that also growing?
That's a great business for us. What we do, what Duff and Phelps does there, is we value portfolio companies of private equity and hedge funds. They're illiquid investments, and we generally do it on a regular, often on a quarterly basis. And we're doing this work for half of the top 25 largest private equity firms and half of the top 25 largest hedge funds.
Would this be considered in addition to what, let's say, they had to go to an accounting firm to get some kind of an accounting opinion? Is it in addition to that kind of work?
It's definitely in addition to that kind of work. The accountants work on determining the financial statements or helping audit the financial statements.
With the numbers that are already there.
The numbers that are there. But when it comes to issues of valuation, that's where Duff and Phelps plays.
All right. I want to thank you very much. Noah Gottdiener coming in and sharing your thoughts with us about Duff and Phelps. Look forward to having you back.